let's talk about how much I spent to self-publish this book right here. This is one of my favorite videos to do, and it's especially interesting because this is actually a second edition. So I'm going to share how much I spent to make a second edition, which the number surprised me. And then I will also share at the end a comparison to what I spent on the first edition and a total. So this is a video I've never done before. If you want to know why I did that, I'll link the video about that below. And I will also link the video on the first edition of this book expenses below as well, because spoiler, I managed to do that for very, very cheap, and I will get into why and how in a minute. But before I get into all of this, I literally had to write all down and take notes and look at like my tax expenses and sort through PayPal and my bank account to be like, okay, what did I spend? And so this was actually a revelation to me as well, and I was, like I said, kind of surprised by it. But before I get into that, I just want to say, if you're watching this video on the day that it comes out, it's release day for this beautiful book, and I'm very, very excited about it. I'll put a little description of it on the screen here. If you're curious and want to know more, you can pause it and read through, and I will link Goodreads because there's tons of reviews on there already. I think over 50 reviews, maybe 60 something at this point of recording. And then hopefully there will be quite a few reviews on Amazon and the other vendors as well. So I will link the book below if you want to go ahead and check it out. And I was gonna say pre-order, but it's not a pre-order anymore as of this video. So if you want to go order it and read this book, or if you just want to check out the first few chapters, you can actually read on all the vendors for free. Okay, let's get into it. Are you ready for this? I have 5 expense categories on here, and I will write a nicer version for you to show you because this is very messy. But just so you know going into it what those 5 categories are, we have the cover, the editor or editors, formatting expenses, marketing expenses, and then an other category to just kind of be a catch-all for random things. And you don't necessarily have to spend money on any of them. I think I've said this before, but you can pretty much publish for free. I think I have a video actually about that, publishing on a budget. And of course, if you did see my previous video on the first edition, you know that I did a lot of trading my time and those kind of resources instead of money. So I ended up publishing for a very, very low cost. But this time around, I spent more. Number 1, my cover. I work with Mandy Len at Stone Ridge Book Cover Design, and I have been working with her for many, many books now. She's done my Stolen Kingdom People covers, the collector's edition cover. I just love how that turned out. She did the first edition cover of The Secret Gift when I wanted it to match the Stolen Kingdom series. And then after I did some revamping of that book and realized, like I said in this video, that it's not a standalone novella, but it's actually the first book in a 3-book series, and it is a full novel that I expanded by over 80 pages, so it's quite a bit longer. She did this cover for me as well. And just a little secret, we've also done books 2 and 3. So my patrons are about to see the covers for both books 2 and 3 very, very soon. If you're not on Patreon and you want to get early access, you can find that below as well. I should be displaying this. What am I doing? There we go. But all that to say, at the time of purchasing my cover from Mandy, she charged $249, but I got a $30 discount for being a very, very long-term client. And so my total that I paid was $219. The second category is editing expenses. You can have many different types of editors. You could hire a developmental editor or a copy/line editor or a proofreader or more than one. You could have all 3 if you wanted to. And so it really just depends on your capabilities and your expertise. So I think when you're first starting out, the more editors, the better, and the more professional help you can get with your story, the better. But this is my 7th novel and like 12th book. But let's just say I have worked with many, many, many editors, and I have gotten a lot of help, and I've learned my strengths and weaknesses. Not to mention I do have an English degree with a creative writing emphasis, and I learned quite a bit about that as well. And I do really, really, really have an eye for spelling type stuff, for just typical proofreading type errors. So my work has always been very clean, and my editors have told me that over the past few years, as I learned my mistakes, it's gotten more and more and more clean because I know what to look for. Plus, on top of that, I kind of mentioned this in that original video as well, I have amazing critique partners, and one of them is actually also an editor. So shout out to Jessie Elliott. She is amazing, and she read the book the first time, and then she read all the changes in the second edition right here as well. So she was my extra eye, but again, we trade time, and I'm planning to read her new series right here, which I'm very excited for her when it comes out in, I think, 3-ish months now. So I'm very thankful for both my critique partners and also my beta readers. So let me just jump back. If you don't know what beta readers are, I have this whole playlist all about them, but I work with them for the developmental edit side of things. So what I do is I create questionnaires, and I'm like, did this character make sense? Does the world building make sense? What do you think of this? And so they are so amazing. They give me very similar feedback to what a developmental editor would do. Now, it's taken me a long time to find the best of the best beta readers. I just have to say shout out to all of these wonderful beta readers. I also shout them out in the back of my book, and I've asked them for permission in the past if I could share some of their feedback. So I think I have a little bit in this video, but they are legit amazing. It's just readers. That's what it stands for, is readers before the book comes out. That's all you have to do to qualify. The more eyes you can have on your story, the better, honestly, because that allows you to just get more feedback and get an idea of how the book will be received. So anyway, reeling myself back in to the costs. I did not do a developmental editor because I did beta readers. I did not need to do a line or copy editor because I had my critique partner. And then I did not do any proofreading editors because that's my strength, as well as the fact that I have my ARC readers who are very good about letting me know if they see anything last minute. And so far, only one thing, which I fixed. That makes my editing costs a total of $0. For those of you who are like, I'm sure there's errors in the book, so far I've had, again, like over 60 something reviews on Goodreads, and they keep coming in, and I'm so thankful for that, by the way. And I have not had a single complaint. I think that hopefully speaks for itself. The third category is formatting. And for any of you who have been here, even like more than a month, you probably already know this. I've said it a lot, but I have built up a lot of formatting expertise over the last 5 years of being a self-published author. So I have this full video series on how I personally format my novels myself for free. I'm not going to go into it because again, that's like hours of content right there where I've broken it down, but my total cost for formatting is $0. The reason I even mention this category at all is because sometimes people will hire formatters to just make it look really clean, and other times you might buy like a software such as Vellum, which is a very good software that I've heard good things about, but I just feel the most comfortable doing the formatting myself in Word. All right, category number 4 is marketing, and this is always the most complicated section. I have 3 different categories here. So the first one is I worked with Sapphire Ink, and I got the Book Blast package, which is usually $90 at the time I got it anyway, and I got a discount for working with her because I've worked with her in the past. So cool thing about that was it was only $72 to get a book blast on both cover reveal day, and then I will also have one on release day. The second thing that I put a lot of marketing budget into is my pre-order incentives. So I actually did 5 different pre-order incentives, gifts that I give to readers in exchange for buying / pre-ordering the book. Out of those 5 pre-orders, 2 of them are digital, which means all I had to do is put my time and energy into it, didn't have to pay anything. The third one was that giveaway, the $50 Amazon giveaway, and I'm lucky enough that I got that for free for spending so much money on my credit card. So I had put, I think I told you guys this in the past, like all of my hospital bills on a credit card, which we paid off with some insurance money, but it was a total of over $30,000 from giving birth to a baby, okay? And that's like 50% off. FYI. And so after we used the credit card to pay it, and then we got reimbursed for that, thankfully, I had so many of those credit card rewards, I think they're called, that I was able to get a bunch of gift cards. So I used a $50 gift card as one of the incentives, but I did not have to pay for it, thankfully. So the only things that I did have to pay for were the sticker sheets and the signed book plates. And then of course, actually stamps and envelopes, right? Let's start with stamps. I had to go look and see how many people have signed up so far for the pre-order incentives. And just keep in mind that a small percentage of people who pre-order actually go and sign up for these gifts. I think so far, the people who decided they also wanted the gifts and signed up for it, I had, at the time of writing this list, I had 56 people, but then I went and did the math and it's now 66 people. So we'll see. I have another week until release, so this might get a little bit larger, but for the sake of doing the math, let's say stamps are, I think they're 50 cents now, right? And that was times, I put 60 people, I rounded up when I made this. So it was $30, let's say maybe closer to 40 actually. I'm just gonna make a mental note about that. Fortunately, the envelopes are free because I actually have a ton of old envelopes left from other things, so I'm just gonna use those. The book plates, I used this right here, and they turned out very, very cute. Let me just show you how cute these are. I'm very excited about them. That cost $14.64, so we'll round up to 15. And then I got my sticker sheets, which I would show you, but I used mine already, from Mandy Lanigan. She has this amazing sticker shop as well. And so I was like, hey Mandy, can I do a bulk order from you? And she gave me a nice discount for that. So it was $1.50 per sticker sheet. And again, I did the math for 60. So I'm gonna have to add to that. Shoot. 60 sheets was $90. So let's round up and say maybe $100, and then also shipping, which I don't know how much that's going to be. So I'm going to round up to, let's say, 115 as just a guesstimate. I haven't done it yet, so I'm estimating slightly, but that's pretty close. Oh, and then I also had a note here that I have so far 10 people are international. So their stamps cost, I think, $1 instead of 50 cents, pretty sure, hopefully. So that would be $10. So the total for my pre-order incentives is $170. Whew, okay, and then last but not least, the third item is still a secret. I don't want to reveal it just yet because it's not done until mid-December, I think. So I should be revealing that in January 2023. Subscribe if you want to find out when I'm ready to share, but that was a $50 expense. So our total for the marketing section is $292 in marketing. The last category is my other category, and that just covers any miscellaneous expenses that didn't fit under the other four. So for me, there's only one thing in this category, which is my ISBN number for the paperback. Back in, gosh, 2 or 3, maybe 4 years ago now, I went on Bowker, which is where you buy ISBNs in the US. If you want to pay for them, you can also get them for free. That's a whole other video. But I bought the package of 10 ISBN numbers for $295. And so if you divide that by 10, because I only used one this time around, it would be $29.50, or let's round up to $30 for this book. All right, we ready for the grand total, adding everything up? We've got $219 for the cover, $292 for all the marketing, $30 for the ISBN, makes a total of $541 for this book. That's just the second edition, you guys. Do you want to add in the first edition? All right, I have my notes here. I went back and watched this video. If you want to know the full story behind the first edition, I'll link that video below for you to watch after this. But the publishing side was $119, and that's it. Again, lots of cool reasons behind that. I'll link the video below, but that would add up with this book to a total of $660. However, I also did a lot of marketing on that first edition, and my total of marketing plus publishing that book was $455. Okay, ready for this? If you add all of that, the $455 for the first edition plus the $541 for the second edition, I have now spent a total of $996 on this book. That's a lot, especially for me right now. After all these books that I published, I found that the less I can spend up front, the happier I am, because it makes the money back like right away, before release or during release. So that first edition made its money back, I think, before the book even came out. And that was such a huge relief. Now, it's so funny to me. Like I said, I was surprised when I did the math for this video, and I was like, I spent more than I did on the first edition? Like, holy cow. But then I remembered that my goal this time around is to spend quite a bit up front on this series, because of the fact that there's now a book 2 and a book 3. So you're always constantly marketing book 1 in a series, and I wanted to get the word out in whatever way possible. And some of that meant giving away more copies of the book starting out of the gate, because I wanted to do as many ARC readers as were interested, and that is a little bit scary all in itself. But the way I see it is that if this book is truly as good as I hope that it is, somebody's up, then it will stand for itself. And I've already had people who are ARC readers who are like, I bought the book. And you guys, that means so much. You have no idea. Like, I'm so happy that you guys like it. I seriously have been like on the edge of my seat for a couple months now, hoping that you would love this book and love the story. And obviously the first edition was very well received, but like I talked about in these videos about why I unpublished it and why I decided to do a second edition, I just felt like it wasn't reaching as many readers as it could because it was too short. And so again, added quite a bit. As you can see here, it's no longer a novella. If you see reviews that say novella, that's talking about the old first edition, and that's not the case anymore. I can't believe it's out now. Sorry, it's just hitting me that it's out now. Even though the pre-order was exclusive to Barnes & Noble, it will now be available internationally to all my international readers on Amazon. The paperback should definitely be live by the time this video is out, so I will link it below if you want to go read it and support me. It means so much to me. Thank you. And now I better go get little Zion and yeah, just enjoy these feelings. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I also can't believe how much I spent, but funny enough, I've actually spent more. I will link all my other videos about expenses for the books that I've published below in a fun playlist. I actually have a money playlist in general, if that intrigues you. I'll link that below as well. And I hope you guys have an awesome day. If you decide to pre-order, you know where the link is. And I'll talk to you guys again very soon. Bye.
Then all of a sudden